Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome to another episode for Gamescast. This time we're going to go over the E3 EA predictions. Even though EA aren't going to be at E3, I'm still going to do a little bit of like what they're going to bring to their actual thing. I think they've still got like a conference there, but they're not actually at E3 to play any of their games. You have to go over to the ePlay thing like across the road pretty much, but at the same time they're going to have stuff shown at probably Xbox, if anything, not really Sony. It's going to be Xbox mostly, just because they've got a deal with them. So if we get off with it straight away, I'm going to go into it straight away. Big news of everything. Like, my most excited game for this year is Battlefield 1. It's one of those games that it's like, instead of having a futuristic shooter, thank God it's not a futuristic shooter. It's a past shooter. I wouldn't even mind if it was another modern one, even though modern's a little bit off, but for a past shooter to come out and to be announced like that, and then if anything they might make something special. They might do something special for the people who get a special edition. Even though this game is probably the most hyped one, if anything they might have another edition where you could get a remastered version, like how Call of Duty have done, but people don't want to buy Infinite Warfare to get the Modern Warfare remastered type thing. They kind of just want to have the remastered Modern Warfare thing. If anything, they might just bring out like a Battlefield Bad Company 2 or a Battlefield 3 just remastered for the thing itself, because well, Battlefield 4 tried to do it with some of the maps for Battlefield 3, but I feel like me and my mates both feel like it should have, like, they don't really work that well, just because they're a little bit more compact and they're more used to having less players on them, especially on the console versions. It's a lot more used to having less players on them, because right now it's like, I think it's like, I don't know how many, 32 on each team, where on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 it was only 32 throughout the entire game. So it's a little bit different and a little bit of like a mismatch towards the scale of the maps. But if anything, they're going to show off in Battlefield 1 the actual gameplay, because in the trailer itself it always says in-game engine, and it was the same for Battlefront actually. So it's going to have something on those lines of showing off actual gameplay, and then if anything they might do the same as what they did, I think it was last year with Hardline, where you could actually go around and play it. If anything, they're going to have that at the ePlay conference, so they're going to announce that, oh yeah, we've got this, and then try and just sneak people over to the ePlay place. Just means they can actually play their game there. But they're going to have like a giant set where you can actually play it and play like different rounds of it. So it's going to be something like that, and then they're just going to announce a beta for it, which you know there's going to be a beta, because most Battlefield games have always got a beta now. So there's that. Now we'll go on to another thing, which is going to be Mass Effect. Mass Effect Andromeda it's called. It's one of those games where it's like, I played the hell out of Mass Effect series. Like, even though I didn't really finish off Mass Effect 2, but Mass Effect 3, I think I finished it like 3 times just to get everything done, and then played the multiplayer like so much. So hopefully Andromeda has like a type of, maybe like a co-op mode, even though it's like you don't have a specific main character anymore. I think you just make a character, so it's not really that type of thing, because in 1, 2, 3 in that trilogy you had to play as Shepard, so there was no way of getting somebody else in the game. So maybe you'll be able to make your own identity in this next one. You have like a 2-player co-op type thing. That would be pretty fun to see if they can actually do that in the game. It'd be pretty fun, since they've done that in other games as well, where they've done it in like a Dead Space type way, where you could just drop in and drop out. Maybe they do it for that, and then maybe see some more of the gameplay, because we've seen some of the trailers and seen some of the screenshots of it where it looks pretty fun, and you have the I think it's the Miku again, the Land Rover type thing that you could have. So that'll be fun to see, just to use that. And then at the same time they might have a remastered version of the Mass Effect series, but maybe not. If anything, they might release that the year after, but Mass Effect's one of those games where it takes you forever, and then if anything they might show off maybe a multiplayer mode, maybe a co-op mode. That's what I'm hoping to see, something like that. It's like, if you guys think that those things are that, then comment it down below. And if anything, if you think of something else different for Mass Effect, then say so down below as well. Now if we go on to the next one, which is Titanfall 2. Titanfall itself was a little bit, it was too hyped, I think. It was fun right at the start. It's still fun now, but it kind of got too hyped. So that means the player base just dropped off as soon as no content was released for the first few months. So if anything, if EA can actually work on most other stuff from how other games have developed, so that means you don't actually have to pay for a season pass to get all the other stuff. If anything, have like a microtransaction version in it, and then you still get some money. It's like EA get a lot of money anyway from like FIFA and stuff like that, but from those type of games, maybe just have all the DLC free, so that means they bring it out like once every like 1.5 months. So that means you have something new, so that means people can go back and play it for like maybe like a month and a half, maybe half a month, maybe like 2 weeks or something like that. So that means they can still keep on playing the game, and it just kind of makes it a little bit more better. So it kind of makes people not really drop off. That's what I'm kind of get to. It makes people not really drop off. And hopefully we see something like gameplay from Titanfall 2 as well, because we've only seen like a little 30-second snippet where it shows off like a sword, where rumors have said that it's supposed to have like a grappling hook. So it could be like how in Overwatch you can have like the roadhog thing where you just hook somebody in and pull them in. It might be something like that. And if you can do that and then self-destruct yourself as you're getting pulled in, or you're self-destructing as you're pulling in somebody else, so that means they can't get away from you. That'd be pretty fun to see, just to have that. Just an all-out warfare of people just self-destructing, hooking, swords, slicing up different robots. Maybe they have a different type of, maybe they might use the frostbite, or they might use a different type of actual, I don't know what it is, engine. That's what it's, that's the word. They might have a different engine for Titanfall 2 where they can have like a different, more of like a dynamic type world. I even know Frostbite 3 is always been that, and they can still work on Frostbite 3 and use it quite a lot. So there could be that. But now if we go on to the Star Wars part of it. So Star Wars is something I'm really passionate about, and I love Star Wars in every single way. But if we go on to the easy one to talk about is the Battlefront DLC. Of course, they're going to show off I think it's Bespin, the Cloud City. They're going to show off Lando, and I forgot the villain that they're going to show off. But it's not really something newish. It's something that isn't really important. So I think that they kind of messed up on the timeline for it. If they had it as like how the other Battlefields were, or the Battlefronts were, where you could go between past and present, so that means you could use past and present heroes, it would be pretty better, a little bit better in that way. So that means you had different kinds of things for those things, so it's a little bit more content can go out pretty much. So maybe if they do make a Battlefront 2, if they do announce that, maybe make it past, present, and now pretty much. So it's kind of a little bit, those were the same words, weren't they? Past and now, present and now. Makes no sense, but hopefully they have something like that. So that means you have all of the 7 or 8 movies all in one game, and you could play little snippets of the story and stuff like that. It's kind of, it makes it better for people who don't have the internet and something like that, just to play it with friends, or just to play by yourself, just to have it like, you can play some of the story modes and get into the actual films itself. That means people might not actually know what the films are like, so that means they actually play the game, so that means they can play snippets of the movies. So that means people can go back and watch the movies and they just think, oh my god, the nostalgia and everything like that. But now if we go on to the other one, which is a Star Wars game by Visceral, and Visceral did the Battlefront, or the Battlefield Hardline game. They did that, and then I think Visceral did the Dead Space series as well. I think they were, but Visceral is supposed to be making a Star Wars game. Star Wars, I don't know what it's gonna be like. It's gonna be kind of, if they do it like that and they make it like a third person type thing, it'll look more like The Force Unleashed or something like that. Maybe like a third person Star Wars hack and slash type thing. That'd be pretty fun to see. I don't think it'll be a full on hack and slash. It'll be more of a just a tactical type thing, maybe, but it'll be more of like an adventure, more of a story to the game itself, maybe having like a different side of the story. Maybe they go for the comics side, so the comics side are actually part of the whole series now, so anything that's in the comics can actually go into games and movies and anything like that. So that means maybe we see something from the comics and just have that in, or maybe it goes to Rogue One, which is the movie that's supposed to be out this year. I think it is Rogue One. So maybe they announce something like that and it goes into that a little bit more, and we have a game like that. So I don't know. Those are the type of things that I kind of want to see, really. But now if we go on to Mirror's Edge, because Mirror's Edge comes out in a couple of days, or it might be already out. It's supposed to come out, I think it's June 7th, something like that. It's supposed to be, I don't know. I've forgotten already, but it's supposed to come out then. So maybe we see something on the terms of DLC, even though it's only just come out. maybe we see something on DLC wise, because it is an EA game, so that means they do have something in store for content which is being held back, not finished yet. So that means they can put that out as DLC, like a season pass type thing. You know that they're going to do that, and you know that it's EA, and you know that they're going to do that kind of stuff. So maybe we see something like that, maybe like a different part of the world, maybe like an extension to the world, maybe like more missions, more backstory towards everything else, maybe it goes more into the future. Don't know, but I'm hoping like Mirror's Edge is supposed to be really good in that way. But I know that they're going to show off stuff like that, and I know that I could go over a lot more stuff, because, you know, the sports games, you know, maybe more Pele, I don't know, something like that, because Pele was the best thing in the world, not boring at all. But as well, we're going to go over the last thing, which is going to be a new racing game, because last year we had, I think it was the Need for Speed series, and they made up a new Need for Speed game, which is not supposed to be good at all, but maybe this year, like last year, they actually had, oh no, I think it was like 2 years ago, it was beginning with a C, and it was the makers of Burnout making that game, and it's supposed to be an open world type crash type of game again. So maybe they released that one into like a gameplay, maybe like a trailer type thing, because before they only showed off like screenshots, and they had like extreme things. That means you could go into anything. That means you could go into like, I think it was like a parachuter, and then a biker, and then you could go into a car, and it's like an open world type of off-road world. So you could go around and race around. So that would be a pretty fun thing to see, I would think. And hopefully it'll be pretty good in that way, because there's a lot of games that don't really do that type of stuff. I know like The Crew tried to do it. I know that Crew's coming out free on Xbox One, so I'm going to play that. I'm going to try it out and play it. But then there's more of the games of, I'm trying to think of what they're called. Fuel and stuff like that, where it's made like a giant landscape, but the controls weren't that good. So hopefully the makers of Burnout could actually make that game right. I think it was like Citron or something like that. More of like a car themed title, it sounds like, so gonna go with that. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's anything that I've forgotten, I'm sure I put in a question right at the start of the video saying what the things was and what you want to see from the thing, so comment that down below. Next one and the last one is going to be on Xbox, and I'm going to do that solo just because I kind of got some ideas from my mates anyway, just to get them in on that bit. So yeah, there's that, and then the one before this, check that one out, because I'm hoping that one was done with somebody else, because that one is a PlayStation one. So hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys next video. So peace out.